Hey, I'm Debra with CK Family Services.
And I'm Tiffany, and we're going to follow up today with our last video and talk to you a little bit about hair care, but we're going to answer some viewer questions. We had several people write in and ask us some specific questions.
Yeah.
So we're going to start by just reading some questions and then giving our take on it and just hang out with you for a little bit today. So let's start. The first question we have is going to be today from Lisa. And Lisa asks, my daughters are 4 and 6 and detangling their hair is so hard. Do you have any tips on the detangling process?
What do you think? I'll let you handle that one.
Okay, so I have 2 little ones the same age range. And so I detangle the hair in the bathtub and lots of water and lots of conditioner. I think one good thing is to really invest in a wide tooth comb.
Yeah.
And by wide tooth, I mean like 1/2 inch or bigger in the width. I mean, we have like this comb is a good example of what that looks like to help detangle the hair. When you're detangling it, if you start at the base, section the hair off and start at the base and work your way up, which is totally opposite to how white mom does white girl's hair.
Mm-hmm.
So think that a little bit different. Start at the bottom, work your way up to the top. Once you get one section finished, if you're planning on braiding their hair, do it at that time.
Yeah.
Section it, detangle it, braid it. Section it, detangle it, braid it. Also thinking about a brush with, the little brushes that have the tiny balls on the end.
Oh, yeah.
Those will pull your hair right out.
Yeah.
Do not use that. That will cause your child to scream at you in the bathtub. I would say just be gentle too, because the more rough you are pulling through and trying to just get it done, you're just going to break hair off. And
Yeah.
that's not helpful at all. Take the time to spend with your kid and make that like y'all's time together.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes if we don't do it in the bathtub, we do it in front of a movie. And they can watch a movie and they're not thinking as much about
Keeps them distracted.
what's pulling your hair out.
Yeah.
So, it is sometimes difficult and it's a process. So don't beat yourself up over it. Just take some time and learn how to do it together.
I like that.
Good.
All right, let's move on. We have a question from Sarah, and she says, what is the difference between oil, moisturizer, and grease?
Great question.
Great question. It's interesting, Sarah. I'm probably still trying to learn the differences. But I think for the sake of what we know about these 3 things, we'll give it our best effort to answer. So oil really is about moisturizing or just kind of hydrating the hair itself. And that really just to kind of adds shine to it, maybe even helps it to pull up better if you're doing ponytails or braids and things like that. So an oil can look like coconut oil. It can look like olive oil, tea tree oil. You could use just about any oil to really just add to the hair, to give it a shine, a glisten, to keep it with a healthier look. Lots of times hair looks very brittle and you're trying to figure out, well, what's wrong with it? Why is it looking that way? It just needs some oil on it. So what I've probably already done is after braiding her hair, during that time I'm adding oil to it and then braiding it. But then I'll go back through maybe the next day if I'm going to allow it to dry so that we can do something different like ponytails or even straighten it out. And then I'll apply the grease. And that's where we'll kind of switch gears. Grease really is for the scalp. So that's about parting the hair down and really getting the grease on the scalp of the hair. It does not need to go through all of the hair at all. It's really more just about keeping that scalp conditioned and hydrated.
Right.
And that's really, really important because it reduces the amount of flakes that our kids will get sometimes, the itching, because I know my daughter's like, Mommy, my scalp itches. And prior to me understanding the benefit of grease, I just applied oil because I didn't like the heaviness of the grease. I've done research since then and realized that she needs that grease on her scalp to stop it from the itching because it's dry, and that's really what it's doing. It's just drying out her scalp without the grease. So I'll do that, and I would honestly say I do it up to 3 times a week. And depending on the weather and how dry it is outside or how humid it is, then I may do it a little bit more. But it's just small amounts of grease that you would just kind of put on your hand. I would even say less than a dime size for each parted area. That is surely enough. And 3 days a week, break it up to whatever you can get in a routine. I think, Tiffany, you talked about in the detangling process, time. This takes time, and that's kind of the #1 essential when we're talking about African American hair care. You need the time to actually do the stuff that you need to do. So with grease, it's not going to be all through the hair. It is just for the scalp. 2 to 3 times a week really is enough to kind of keep it moisturized, keep the scalp conditioned. And if you sense that there needs to be more, if your child is in between that time and she's scratching and itching, then apply more grease. And I think you would see a difference in really the condition of the scalp and the condition of the hair with the oil and the grease. Now, a moisturizer really is just about the hair as well. Hair is a living organism, so it really does need to be moisturized. And it kind of, you want to think about that like your skin. You know, sometimes people have the different routines with lotion, so they'll put that on their hands, and something not for their face, you know. A moisturizer is the same thing. So where oil is going to give it a shine and a sheen, and maybe kind of like a polished look, a moisturizer really is going to feed that hair and, you know, give it that, okay, I'm hydrated type of a look.
You might need that every day.
You might need to do a moisturizer every day.
Right.
I particularly do a moisturizer at night on my daughter's hair before she goes to bed.
Right.
And I like that because then, you know, it just has time to kind of soak into those little hair strands. And then in the morning, I'll check and see, does she need any oil to shine it up after we're doing it? Or are we doing grease this morning just to kind of make sure that her scalp isn't irritated or dry?
Can I throw in something really quick? When you said when she goes to bed, so you put that in her hair, and I have this question a lot, then what do? You cover her hair? What do you do with her hair from that?
I do. So we use a satin hair bonnet, and she loves it because she thinks that she's kind of more of an adult. So just a satin hair bonnet. I like the satin hair bonnets versus any others, especially cottons, because it does not pull or break the hair.
Right.
And that's really something that's important. So if she's going to go to sleep after we moisturize her hair, then we're putting on a satin hair bonnet. I may even moisturize and braid up, you know, ponytails together. This is really just about me saving time in the morning.
Right.
So kind of doing a quick brush up for her hair. I'm brushing her sides, brushing the ponytails again, maybe rebraiding and adding moisturizer to that because it is nighttime. And then I'm putting her hair bonnet on, and then she's going to go to bed. In the morning, it may still be on, it may not be, but then I get to assess, okay, well, we need to either, you know, add more oil to shine it back up again because, again, it drinks both the moisturizer and the oil. But again, what the oil is going to do is just help me and help her to see it looks great. It's shining, it's polished, and I like it. The moisturizer is really about the food. I would consider the moisturizer more about a food for the hair, grease a food for the scalp, oil the dessert for it all. Let's kind of do that. I like that.
That's
I like
super
that,
cute.
right?
I like
all
that.
right. So
yeah, and I would say too, if you have the kid that's not going to wear the bonnet, you've got sensory issues or whatever, just get a satin pillowcase. A satin pillowcase are fine. If you've got a little one that you're concerned about, I mean, if you have a baby, don't put anything on their head. And if you have to get, they have satin sheets that you can purchase for babies, but really babies, there's really not a need to go into all of this for a baby.
Well, because I think we're really kind of looking at an age range between, you know, maybe 2 on up.
Right.
You know, I would kind of get that, start a routine there. Right. And I would say that because my 2-year-old does not like having her hair combed.
Oh, yeah.
And so, you know, this is really the beginning of our routine. I'm showing her that this has to be done. Mommy has to do your hair. And she can deal with, you know, after the fact and just kind of adding oil and moisturizer afterwards, but it's the time that she needs to sit down and I have to part it or detangle it in the bathtub. So just start a routine around that age, especially, you know, for a little one with hair. Some of the children that come into your home may not have, you know, enough hair to do, but if you have a child that does have hair, you want to begin as early as 2 with a routine because that's going to save you a lot of time in the end.
Right. Just because they're going to fight it as they get older if you don't start it young.
Yeah.
So let's go to another one. Tracy asked, how often should I be washing my 5-year-old daughter's hair? Well, it's different. I don't know. It's just different for every kid. I would say, gosh, I mean, you don't want to wash every day. You're not washing every day.
You don't want to wash every day.
And like, you don't want to wash every 3 days. Your hair gets dry and brittle, and hair is so different from a white mom doing this and trying to get that into your brain. Like, oh, he's gone like 2 days and they're dirty and their hair is bad. It's not bad.
No.
You need to really wait and wash and moisturize their hair. I would say once a week or once every 2 weeks? It kind of just depends on your
Yeah.
child's hair.
I mean, I would tell you for my 6-year-old, we are washing her hair and really spending a lot of time washing, detangling, conditioning, oiling, greasing. We do that about once every 2 weeks. I really don't go more than that. One, because all of the washing could be the source of the irritation for the scalp.
It just dries out your skin
Oh,
so
yeah.
so much, your scalp, and it makes it itchy. And I say I kind of do the same thing. I do all of that every other Sunday.
Yeah.
Like that's our thing.
Yep.
We do it every other Sunday. We watch the Sunday movie on Disney, and we do that.
Yeah.
But I also co-wash, and I'll talk a little bit about that. Some people are they live and breathe co-wash.
Yeah.
Co-washing basically is you're not using any shampoo.
Right.
You're using, they sell co-wash
Products
all over, but really it's just a conditioner. And so if you're paying more money for this co-wash than you are for this conditioner, maybe just buy the conditioner, because that's just the hype of the product. So you just do that the same. Like I use the co-wash to detangle in the bathtub. It just goes through more smooth.
And there are some people who say, well, I don't just want to co-wash because they really like the idea of having the cleansiness of a shampoo. Then I would tell you to go with a sulfate-free shampoo.
Right.
If you do sulfate-free, then it is less hazardous to the hair itself and the scalp.
Right.
And that really just it's moving along the trends of much more natural hair care.
Right.
So,
a low pH, a lower
Yes,
pH balance.
yeah.
Like I don't know if it's 5 or 0.5, because I really don't.
it's less than what normal natural normal shampoos are.
And you can find that easily. I mean, in any store you can find a sulfate-free.
Almost any brand right now is doing a sulfate-free. So if you want to try that because you like the idea of the shampooing, because of the cleansing products that it has in it, then try a sulfate-free so that it is less hazardous to your child's hair.
Just don't do it as often. I feel like really doing that whole harsh shampoo every week, it just is not needed. And I have had people ask me, well, we're really involved in sports, or my daughter's in gymnastics, or she plays soccer 3 times a week and her hair, is sweaty and
braid it up.
Yeah, I mean, definitely braids are really important, and it's not like the same. It's not the same texture.
Not the
like
same.
Your hair and my hair are not the same.
Yeah.
My hair tomorrow is going to be nasty grease. Like I have to wash my hair every day, or my hair. I mean, it's just different. It's a different process and a different kind of way of thinking. But also, don't stress out about it.
Oh my gosh, don't do that. I think the more you are stressed about this process, the more stressed your child is going to be as well.
Yeah.
I mean, if it comes to the time where it's bath time and it's hair washing day and you're like, oh my gosh, we have to do this, then your child is like, oh my gosh, do we have to do this? And they're not going to love what can come from, the beauty behind, oh, you're so pretty, beautiful today, or I like what your hair is looking like, or even coming with you and saying, Mom, can I do my hair like this because my friend has her hair like that?
Right.
She needs to be able to enjoy this process, secretly.
And it's like, if you're doing this as a foster or adopt mom, this is a great time to bond.
Oh
as
my
much
gosh,
as the child might squirm and move and hate it, it's your time to have your hands on them where they might not let you otherwise.
Right.
Spend that time like loving on them, massaging their head, doing things with them that gets you connected that you wouldn't have otherwise, especially for foster adopt kids.
I love that. I love that idea. Just a bonding moment.
Let's talk we heard from a dad. Let's hear from a
dad.
That's
we
pretty
did.
exciting.
All right, so foster dad Matt asked, hey Matt, how you doing? All right, so he asked, can I cut my son's hair myself, or should I take him to a barber?
Oh, good question.
It's a great question. So I have been blessed with boys as well, and I used to be a hair cutter myself. So I was like, I'm not going to spend the money. I'm going to cut their hair, and I just learned how to do the very basic, shave it all off. I had the clippers, and I was just like, sit down.
You did that?
I did it. I know. I loved it. That was crazy though. I loved it. I was like, it's time to cut hair, and my boys would be like, oh my gosh, where is Dad today? So Matt, this is what I'm going to say. While it probably is the best bonding experience that you can give to your son, you could do it better. It could be done differently. I would honestly say go to a barber shop.
Right.
Now, there's a difference between something like a barber shop for African American hair and like a sports clip or a Great Clips or something like that. And not that they could not appropriately cut your African American son's hair, but I think what you're looking for is really to maintain a cultural connection and
Right.
bond with your son in a space that he may feel more comfortable in, and they may have the skills set to do some of the things that maybe the great clips or the other places may not know how to do. It really is just not about taking the clippers and cutting it all off. Nowadays, our boys are like, hey, give me a mohawk, or can I have this side shaved low and this side different, or a little design here. And sometimes the barber shop, they have those skills because they are meeting that population's needs.
Right.
So I love the idea of saying, Dad, if this is a time that you feel like you want to bond with your son, then find a great barbershop, build a rapport, with that barber himself, and just say, this is our time together. We come every Saturday morning. Mom knows boys are gone, and this is what we're
Right.
doing. And let that be a time for you and your son to bond.
I want to say too, if you're a white dad, it's out of your comfort zone maybe
Yeah.
to go anyway. Do
As-
it for your son.
I would even say, and even if that is the case, I think even as a mom, because sometimes if dad can't take the boys, and thank God they're old enough to go themselves now, but it was out of my own comfort zone. I was going to a barbershop with my boys, and I think, what am I doing here? It was
a different
whole bunch
experience.
of men,
It
and there
is.
was men conversations,
Right.
but culturally, it could be a rite of passage for an African American family to take their boys to the barbershop with dad. And, some days when I would go, my boys would be like, why are you here with us? But so, Dad, if you are a white dad with an African American son, I would say, do that rite of passage with him.
Right.
Be,
Right.
unashamed of going to the barbershop with your son. Love him in that way.
Yeah.
Ask questions about barbershops too, though. Where's the place where you think is that you can go? Let me say that again. Where's a good place where you think you should go with your child? So ask people at church, because you should have a diverse population that you are around, even at schools.
Right.
If your son is saying, hey, I like Timmy's haircut, then ask Timmy where his dad takes him, or maybe
Right.
mom is taking him. And then you get recommendations. I love to just go back and say, hair care is just like anything else. If you want to find a great doctor, you're going to ask people first, right?
Exactly.
If you want
Ask
to
your
find,
friends.
ask your friends. That's the best.
Right.
And if your friends are not connected to a different culture,
Right.
then you probably want to start
Looking for that anyway.
I
that
think you
connection.
need to look for that, right?
And I feel like too, I don't want to leave out single moms.
Right, yeah.
Because single moms,
They need to have
that you
that
have to go there
same
too. You still may need to go into that barbershop, a white mom and just explain to them, and they are gonna
embrace
they
you.
are gonna
Oh my
say,
gosh.
come in and let us do this, and don't ever try to do this yourself, and don't go to Cool Cuts for Kids.
Yeah.
Come here, and this is why you need to be here.
Yeah.
And they will take in that boy like it's
these
no-
are-
like
yeah.
it's like it's one of theirs.
Yeah. So I think, here, what we're saying is if you are looking to bond with your child, or you want to be able to help your child maintain a certain look, seek out a barbershop for your child. Don't be afraid to ask questions about where I should go or who's the best. We do it all the time. My boys have switched barbers in the last 3 years, maybe 3 times, because as they grow, they want
Their
something
needs are
different.
Right. And
So-
that's for as anything.
Yeah.
Anything
Yeah.
changes. You don't go to a pediatrician until you're 37.
Well, I hope you don't.
Some people might, I don't know, but
Could.
they could.
If you love them.
Yeah, I don't know. But maybe you should go and look for
Yeah.
a different doctor.
Yeah, I
And
would-
so, that is the same. It's the same as hair care, and it's something people just,
Yeah.
I feel like, stress out about that maybe.
Don't let this part stress you out. If
Right.
you're like, oh gosh, my Saturday is half a day at a barbershop because you have to drive across town, then let that be your day. That's you and your son's
Right.
time, do all the things that mom is like, don't do that today. So eat the chicken wings and the ice cream and the burgers and go to the barbershop.
And that be your thing,
And-
always.
yeah.
And what a great connection,
I love that.
especially to a foster adopt child.
Yes.
To have that,
Yeah.
it's all about making the connection with these kids.
Yeah.
So,
Even through hair, which is amazing, but it's great.
yes, yeah. So thanks for listening to us today. If you've got more questions, feel free to send those in. We'd love to come back and chat with you again and give
Yeah.
you some more tips and
Tricks.
whatever. Just chat with you a little bit. So we'll see you soon. Thanks.
Bye.